Well, like everyone else, my 2020 travel plans got thrown out the window. Originally, it was a Mediterranean cruise and then flight over to the US for a big poker series, but that got scaled back to a Queensland road trip. And then a couple of months ago, that became impossible. So instead, it's a long weekend in Sydney, was all that was on offer. We had booked and paid for accommodation last year for the grand final weekend, but of course the grand final got canned as well. So and there were still a lot of restrictions in place, but we made the most of the what could be done and saw some things that I haven't seen for years. So it should be particularly interesting for anyone who hasn't been to Sydney for a long time or may never have been. Hope you enjoy the video. This is Sydney World at Canterbury, and we're going up across the skyway. It's very noisy in here, but looking out over the valley here, you see the Three Sisters. And the reason why they're called the Blue Mountains is the eucalyptus oil through the sunlight gives off a blue tinge when seen from a distance. And there's millions of trees in the Blue Mountains. Very spectacular view right over the valley.
No. Oh, look at our shadow. He's our shadow.
Up on our left there is consumer waterfall. It is a little bit dry at the moment.
This is the scenic railway. Just laying back the Jamison Valley. It is officially the world's steepest railway. What is the gradient? What is the angle? There we go, 52 degrees. Yep. We could turn this into a roller coaster and be real fun.
Now as we pull into the bottom platform,
Yeah, we made
you'll
it.
be exiting through the doors on the left, heading up the stairs.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good place to abseil from. If you want to die. Well, it's superb weather today. 25 degrees is the top, so absolutely perfect. We made our way to Sydney Tower and we'll take a look around the city and give some information for my overseas friends. We have to the south here is the airport, and beyond that is Botany Bay. Head another 30 minutes to the south, you've got Cronulla, and then off to another 40 minutes or so where you'll find Wollongong. Qantas plane taking off. So a bit closer in you'll find the famous Randwick racecourse. We're planning to head there today, for Epsom Day, but with limited tickets on offer. The cheapest tickets were $99, so you can jam that. There's the Sydney Cricket Ground. The grand final was planned to be played there. I'm not sure. I think they moved it to Sydney Olympic Stadium for this year. So over to the east, you've got the famous beaches of Coogee and Bronte, and of course Bondi Beach. And then heading up a bit further north towards the Gap is the posh suburbs of Vaucluse, Watson's Bay and Dover Heights. And there's the famous Sydney Heads entrance to the harbour. So over to the north side, you've got Manly Beach off there in the distance. Really good place for a day trip on the ferry. Go over there for fish and chips and beer garden in the afternoon. And closer in here, this is the entrance to Tronga Park Zoo, I believe, which is also a really good day trip. There's Fort Denison, one of the original penal colonies in Sydney. And here's a great view of the CBD with of course the Harbour Bridge and Sydney off across the harbour. And the sales of the Opera House will be there tomorrow. Okay, so down to the west of the city, we start with Darwin Harbour, which was redeveloped about 30 years ago, and a terrific place to go with lots of things to see. Now further out to the west, it's really hazy today, so a bit hard to make things out, but head another 20 minutes out to the west, you've got Sydney Olympic Park and the Olympic Stadium. Another 20 minutes or so when you're out of Parramatta, and then beyond that, another 40 minutes, you'll get to the Blue Mountains. And today there's no way of spotting them, but that's where you'll find Penrith, and beyond that is of course the vast central west and then the outback. And swinging back down towards the south again, that's I believe Hurstville from the distance. Now for anyone thinking of moving to Sydney, average house here costs a mere $1.1 million, which is insane. Just as a side, all this haze is smoke haze. It's from the back burning they're doing, getting prepared for summer, burning off the fuel loads. So I think these days the air quality in Sydney is normally pretty good with the winds blowing away, except obviously in bushfire season. And this is Hyde Park and the cenotaph. It's a really nice parkland area to relax in. This is the Archibald Fountain in Hyde Park. It was erected in 1932 as a gift from Archibald and his will to commemorate the peace between Australia and France.
Be anywhere in the world.
Really nice, cool spot here under the big fig trees.
Not the Sahara.
Here's the statue of Captain Cook that was erected in 1879. So it's been here for 141 years. So of course there's fools that want to tear things like this down. So let's hope they leave it alone. And here's the new Sydney tram. Recently completed this project, took years and years. That runs all the way out to Randwick. And then down in the opposite direction, all the way to Circular Quay. This is the Queen Victoria building, which laid in ruins for years and years, and was restored many years ago, and now it's quite a nice place to come into. There's Sydney Tower, where we'll go this one. No wonder this virus is out of control. Have a look at what Gavin just found in his soup. A little bat. That's disgusting. How are you? We got to complain about this.
That's disgusting.
You.
Don't swear at him.
Fucking spread on it.
Why are you swearing at him?
Hey, stop swearing. This is on video.
Yeah.
This is the Chinese Gardens at Darling Harbour. It's been here since 1988 for the bicentennial. So 32 years, and it's actually the first time I've ever bothered to have a look at it. And, it's surprisingly spacious. Quite a large area here. Here we are at Darling Harbour. Looking out over the harbour area. Lovely afternoon, nice cool breeze blowing in, and plenty of people around. Some undesirables. Speaking of undesirables, there's a couple more. Shouldn't be allowed to mix with humans. And this is the location for the next several hours. 2 semi-finals on the big screen. Dear beauty. So we've come down to the rocks, and we're about to do a walking tour. This is the oldest part of Sydney. Indicative of how quiet it is. In fact, this is about as busy as I've seen it this weekend. This tour would normally be packed. There's 4 in our group, and there's a total of 6 on the tour. So we'll certainly get a good look at things. Probably the only positive that can come out of 2020 at this stage is that when things do get back to normal, people will appreciate travel like never before. Appreciate the freedom to be able to do what you want to do. So I'd imagine there'll be a huge boom in travel once this is all over.
Band together by all the rum coming from ships, water it down and sell it for very inflated prices. I have actually heard read 1200% increase. They made a fortune. Between governors, they took power, they gave each other land grants all over the place. The early governors tried to stop these soldiers. Governor Hunter tried to stop them, he couldn't do it. Governor King tried, he couldn't do it. Back in England, they thought if anyone could stop these soldiers, William Bligh can. Sent him out. What did the soldiers do? They arrested William Bligh and put him in jail. The Rum Rebellion. 4 mutinies this bloke had up his sleeve. Look, he was exonerated, no charges laid against Bligh. Major George Johnson was cashiered because of it, so it got Bligh off foot. He was a very strong disciplinarian, no doubt about that at all. Matter of fact, his swearing was so bad he made even sailors blush. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, well, I think he had a short for too long.
Although they were all about 5'2", 5'3".
Sydney's oldest residents built in 1816. So you can see the people up the top of the Harbour Bridge doing the walking tour, which would be a really good thing to do, except that the imbeciles running that operation want to charge over $300 to do it, so they can go and jam that at that price. Yeah, a lot of construction going on in the city at the moment, but on a day like this, pretty spectacular sight. It's 27 degrees today. Slight cool breeze blowing. It's absolutely beautiful. So rather than spend all that money on the Harbour Bridge, why not do a tour of the Opera House? $32, 1 hour tour. It's really interesting. They're currently closed because of the restrictions, but when they reopen, it's definitely something people might want to look at. So here's the cruise portion of this year's trip. There's no Mediterranean or Caribbean cruise. A Sydney ferry. Lots of stay.
and coming into dock in Watson's Bay. And down in Darling Harbour you've got the Maritime Museum. It's a good way to spend a few hours, and one of the attractions is the HMAS Vampire, this destroyer. You can go on and have a really good look through it. Very Spartan interior, but very interesting. You can also do a tour of the submarine, the HMAS Onslow. You just don't want to be claustrophobic on any submarine. Well, we ruled out Randwick the other day because it was $99 to get in. Instead, on the holiday Monday, we've come to Canterbury. Much better price here. It's free entry. And as you can see, there's a massive crowd here. We've got a bit of a betting pool together, and we'll definitely have some fun and with that and try and have a win. It's also an opportunity to muck around with the camera with some action footage. See how that goes. I'm declaring this horse, number 4, Coterie, is the winner of this race. And this future champion we can see coming out with the field white with a red heart.
Over the inside occupiers, Matt Devora drops out of it, into the straight
Here comes Coterie down the outside.
Occupier, Love Shack, they get Coterie running on down the outside. Bobby Blue from under 2 2 lengths clear from Occupier. Sevilla.
Come on, you bastard. Here's Coterie coming back to scale. Ran 4th. Next start, Pal Factory. Donkey.
I'm starting up a new segment for my travel videos. Each time I go on a trip, I'm going to pick out an item of interest relating to travel and discuss it in some detail. Of course, it's just my opinion, but it might help some people out with some ideas with their travel. So the first item for discussion is my travel camera. Now, for a lot of people, they might just be happy just to carry a small compact, very cheap. You can get them for $100 or so, or they might just use their mobile phone, and you can get away with that. You can get some really good results in bright conditions, but the problem with those sort of cameras, tiny sensor, it can't get enough light into the camera in low light and night conditions, so the results will always be disappointing. You spend thousands of dollars traveling to places that you might never go to again. So the last thing you want is when you get home to find that your results are disappointing. You want to see them exactly as you saw them. So at the other end of the scale is your DSLRs, professional type cameras, full frame sensors. Problem with those, they're going to cost thousands of dollars. You've got to carry separate lenses and tripods. Then you're worried about getting the gear stolen. You've got to lug it around everywhere. So they're probably not ideal for travel as well. So what you really want is something that's all in one, and I find the best solution is one of the bridge cameras. Now there's a wide variety of them. A lot of them have incredible zoom. There's a Nikon P1000 that is 125 times zoom, which is something like having a telescope with a camera on the end of it. Others have got 50, 60 times zoom. Now they're not ideal either because they have tiny sensors, same as the small compacts. But when you reduce the zoom a bit and you get down to around 16 times zoom, then you get the 1-inch sensor. That's 6 times the size of the small compacts and the mobile phones. And what that means is you can get terrific results in all light conditions. Don't have to think about it. You just, in my camera, I just leave it on intelligent auto and very rarely change the settings, only in the most extreme conditions. So that camera is the Panasonic Lumix FZ1000. It has a quality Leica lens, 16 times zoom, 20 megapixels, super fast autofocus, inbuilt stabilisation. It's just a terrific all-round camera. You can pick one up on eBay, brand new, for about $700. A few accessories that you'll need: high-speed SD card. In fact, I've got two in case I fill one up. You'll also need an external microphone to cut out the wind noise and improve sound quality, and of course you need a suitable carry case. Now, there is an upgraded version. It's called the FZ 2500, came out a couple of years ago. It's got a few extra features, a bit more zoom, 24 times, I think touch screen, and a few other features. It's a few $100s more, so if your budget can stretch to it, probably worthwhile. It'll be my upgrade camera when my current one dies. But so that's my thoughts on the best travel camera and the reasons why. And next trip I'll pick out another topic and something that might help people along the way. Alright, so this is the FZ 1000 with the zoom lens extended out to its full range. Some of these cameras have got incredible zoom. The Nikon P1000 can zoom out to 125 times, which is like a telescope with a camera on the end of it, but the problem is tiny sensors, so struggles with low light. Now this one also has a little screen on the back that's quite good, or you can use your EV viewfinder. Yep, and that is my camera review.
Just one other thing for planning your trip to Sydney. Big hassle driving and parking in the city, so make it easier for yourself. Park the car at Penrith, undercover free parking, it's unlimited. Then catch the train into the city, only takes an hour to get in there. And getting around on the train and trams and ferries all weekend using the Opal card only costs $25 for the entire weekend. So off-peak it's super cheap, super easy, and just the best way to go. That's it for this trip, and not sure what's happening next year, obviously depending on the situation with the lockdowns and so forth, but hopefully in the not too distant future everything will get back to normal.